Hello, and welcome back to my channel. So today's a little different. We're going to do 3 portraits, one of Will Graham, one of Jack, and one of Alana Bloom. And I don't know why I didn't say Jack's last name, Jack Crawford. But basically, before I was into Death Stranding, I was really into Hannibal. I loved the series, watched it over and over, read the books, annotated them, just got really, into them the same way that I've gotten into Death Stranding. And one of the reasons that I even played Death Stranding was because I saw Mads Mikkelsen was in it. And I was like, okay, sure. At that time, I actually didn't know who Norman Reedus was. I knew of Margaret Qualley, but other than that, all the characters were pretty much new to me. Lea Seydoux, I guess I knew. I had seen like her Beauty and the Beast and a couple like indie films, and of course she was in a Bond girl, so I knew of her. But funny enough that Hannibal was kind of the first love, and if you go back on my channel, I've drawn them before. These are some paintings. I just wanted to get some practice, and I love drawing the faces of characters that are just interesting to me. This one specifically I drew because I wanted to practice kind of the dramatic lighting, and I really liked the angle. I will say this is the last one that I drew, and I think it was actually the worst one of the 3. Um, it's kind of frustrating when that happens because you think that you would get better as you go, but sometimes I really think you get worse. I don't know if that's the overconfidence or if it's because you're trying new things, but I felt like I lost the likeness of him, as well as, I don't know, the angle was off. I didn't have a good like replication of the screen cap I was using, and I think it really comes back to I was using a poor reference. It was very dimly lit, the shadows and the lights weren't clear, and I should know by now if it isn't like really full of contrast and really great light and shadow, it's going to be very difficult for me. So I go through a whole thing of like, well, how about, I'm going to paint it, I'm going to do a color overlay. Then the color overlay didn't really look good, so then I just thought, well, I'll just do a real paint over. And then I also just didn't like the paint over, and by the end of it, I just chose to leave it. It was supposed to be a study in the first place, and if you are, I guess, gosh, this video should be something like, do studies, but don't let studies ruin your life. One of the things about doing studies is they're supposed to be fast and quick and a way for you to practice kind of the skills that you have and not think so much. But if you're studying something that isn't well done in the first place, so like that screen cap wasn't great resolution, it wasn't well lit, it wasn't great for what I was trying to do, which was render a portrait in dramatic lighting. Then and then I was trying to turn it into color, and it. If you've ever watched Hannibal, it's a very dark show anyway, and so there were just you need to have a end point and what you want from a drawing before you get started, and that's in my opinion why this failed. For me, my goal was to draw a dramatic portrait, but what I ended up doing was more along the lines of trying to just replicate a screen capture and not stylize it or even be true to the screen capture, because the first problem I think I really had was that the angle was wrong. So the gun is actually pointed differently in the screen cap. It's a little lower and a little more straight on towards the camera. And you actually can't see that much of his face. It's more of a low eyeline shot. So I think really when you're doing a study like this, if it goes wrong this early, just do it again or do a different one. Like I should have scrapped this, but I was honestly, when I was doing this, I was distracted. I was kind of watching videos. I was kind of talking to my husband, and I don't think I realized how poorly I was doing at the time, like mentally paying attention. So I feel like this is a cautionary tale. If it's not working out, move on, pick a different picture. Something's holding you back. So this is what I felt like was the final. This is the very first portrait that I drew, and I actually went directly into it with color, and it was the most successful in terms of big blocky colors, um, getting a really good likeness, and using a screen capture, so something straight from the show, but stylizing the colors and the crop to something that looked really nice. And that is really what you want to do. You want to pick the screen cap and not just copy, but crop it, adjust it to what you think is good. So this is cropped pretty close to his face, but that's what I like doing. I like doing portraits and I find them really appealing. Something about the difficulty of capturing the resemblance is both addicting and also punishing. I love to try it and I love to be successful at it, but it is brutal to try and get a likeness if you're not really focused and not in the right mindset. And a lot of times I think I'm in the right mindset, and then I'll realize later that actually I was distracted. I wasn't really looking at the photo. And so this one just, it was magical. It just turned out so well. I loved the colors. One of the things that I want to do more in my art is I tend to just draw a lot of like pale characters. There's hardly anyone that's even like, I don't know, not a vampire in my drawings. And I'm like, I got to work on that because first of all, I love, love, love the palette of this. And I want to have like a broader expanse of portraiture. Now in real life, I draw a lot. Like I draw whoever wants me to. I draw people that I see in real life. But when it comes to actually, I don't know, like characters in media, I feel like a lot of the stuff I watch isn't that diverse, and that's kind of sad, and I want to work on that because even when I do watch like a different media, like for example, so even in Death Stranding, we only really have like Die Hardman, and everybody else is so pale in that game. I mean, they're just like paper white. And I just am like, okay, well, I need to focus on finding more characters that are more diverse to draw, more diverse features. And I just think I would really enjoy that. I need to go out of my way and find that. If you have any media that you really, really enjoy and you think would kind of be along my taste, I would love to watch it. So I'm pretty basic. I love things like, of course, Hannibal, Death Stranding, but I also really enjoy like, Resident Evil, the Alien franchise. I enjoyed Stranger Things. I like anything that has sort of a, I don't want to say sci-fi because it's not always sci-fi, but like fantasy to it. Sherlock was fun. I read the books before the movies ever came out. I like all the adaptations of that. They're just fun. I think if it's got a little bit of thought in it that makes you, just kind of get in there. Oh, you know what? That reminds me of Severance. That's like my top favorite new show. And again, even in that, there's not a lot of variety. And I'm like, I've got to find more variety in characters. Anyway, that was a tangent. But if you have shows that you think I should watch that maybe you think are just like great overall, or that you think, if you are someone who's been here for a while and you think that I might like it, send it my way. Big reader, love to read. That's like, I feel like my number one thing, and then art, and then video games. And so, one of the books that I would like to become a movie is Hell House, Ninth House, and it has a pretty diverse main character. And I'd like to see that come to life. And then I would really like to see some characters that are like, I don't know, like diverse in culture too. Maybe I should go back to like, I don't know, like some 80s like movies might be fun. Everything is just so bland right now. Not to mention, oh yeah, this is beautiful and it's almost done. I remember Lawrence Fishburne, which is Jack Crawford's actor from The Matrix. Oh my gosh, he was so cool in The Matrix. And then, so he's one of my favorite actors. And then he was in the John Wick series, and I was living for it. He was like the homeless mob underground boss guy. and I'm kind of hoping that we'll get a cameo from him again in the new John Wick series, the ballerina movie, because everyone's kind of alive in that series again, and I would love that. Anyway, I'm getting excited, but I really love his movies. I'd like him to have some more movies. Now, Alana Bloom, I actually didn't know who her actor was, like at all, until the Hannibal series. And I started out thinking I was going to draw her and Jack, like full body for my screen cap. And I just was like, I'm not enjoying this. And I thought, I'm just going to do a portrait. And it was so simple, so easy. She did turn out a little yellow. She doesn't quite have the right coloring, but I did enjoy like the neutrals. She turns out to have like this very brown black palette with some red mixed in. And so I do think I kind of got her personality in. And when you see the actual painting, I think you'll like it. But long story short, I think Alana Bloom gets the short end of the stick. I actually think she's a great, strong female character. And for me, I feel like she acts like any of the men, which, of course, if you've read the books, you know that she is based on a man. She's Alan Bloom from the books, and that's why she feels like a real character, because she wasn't written as a female character. She was just written as a character. And I think that's another reason that the books are really great to read, is you kind of get some of the background that the show has to sacrifice in order to tell some of the other stories that are really enjoyable, like Cats. I tried to draw Beverly, but hers looked horrendous and goofy and just didn't turn out right. And I want to try to tackle her again someday as well, because she's so beautiful. I love her so much. I'm trying to think if there's any other TV shows that I've just really, really enjoyed, but I'm kind of pulling a blank. I'm kind of the person that once I find a show I like, I'm in it. I'm in it until like I burn out and then I move on. So if you guys like this video, let me know. Tell me, what are you doing? What creatively are you up to right now? I know we're kind of moving into a different season of videos, but if you like this, let me know. If you didn't like it, I guess be nice. Don't make me cry. So anyway, I will see you in the next video. Bye!